All right. Hello and welcome to episode 327 of Together BHA. This is our season finale. This is it. We're at the end of the road for 26. How did you feel things went, Adam? How are you feeling? Obviously, we're a week removed from United, so you've had a little bit to adjust from that result and adjust to the idea of a potential European football weekend. What's the vibe?
Yeah.
Summer.
What is the vibe? We're testing out the new microphone here, so if the sound is horrendous, then we can just blame the company that made it. What do I feel like? I think my honest opinion of it, I'm going to get a lot of flack for, because I said this when we last recorded, that I think the Conference League would have been, based on where we were, a failure. Is it great that based on where we were earlier in the season that we got European football, considering we were talking about firing Herzl partway through the season and hoping we won't get relegated? Yes, you could argue then, sure, any European football is redeeming in that regard. Where it all netted out is we needed to get 1 point against Leeds and Manchester United to get into the Europa League, and we got none. So from that perspective, I am disappointed. I think I'm extra disappointed now after Palace walk away with the trophy, because there is nothing that we can do in that competition now that wouldn't at best be deemed as expected. We now go into that competition expected to win it, because if we don't, we're shitter than Palace. And if we do win it, it's like, yeah, well, you had to win it. It's all a bunch of minnows, and that's what you got to do. So, very long-winded way of me saying, sure, it's great that we got Europe. I'm not trying to rain on that parade, but I think it is a mega problem that we didn't qualify for the Europa League, and the performances that we saw, frankly, against Leeds and Manchester United in a situation where the players knew what was at stake was disappointing to witness, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can deny that Manchester United performance was an absolute shocker. Like, regardless of how people are feeling about Europe, I feel a lot happier than you do, as you know. Like, I would have considered any European football a great success next season. I'm kind of not even bothered about the Palace thing, because they are a better team than us right now. They've won 3 trophies in one season. We've won 1 in 125 years. I don't think there's much of a discussion to be had.
Wait, what was the 3 trophies?
What Community Shield.
Oh, it doesn't count. That doesn't
count. Well, then we have none. So that's okay. I'm fine with it not being considered a trophy. But every Albion fan clinging to our 1910 Community Shield,
it doesn't count.
Very sad.
It doesn't count.
In which case, 2 trophies this season, or 2 trophies in the last 12 months.
You can't even hoist it. It's a plate. You know?
Listen, I don't think it is either, but a lot of Albion fans are very passionate about sticking by their 1910 trophy. To me, it really doesn't mean much at all.
But you can't
it's
count.
Very much a thing.
You cannot count a plate pre-Titanic. You just can't.
I agree with you. I don't think it's something you can consider either. But in which case, they have 2 trophies in the last 12 months, and we have none. So
hold on. Tim is asking, what are the problems of not qualifying for Europa League? Because the finances are about the same with the conference. It's based on what I just said. Palace have just won the thing. You're going into this playing a bunch of crappy teams where, if you just happen to slip up during one of the knockout rounds, you then become a failure, because the value of your team that is on the pitch compared to whatever tin pot club that you're going to be facing at some point is going to be so astronomically bigger that the expectation is Brighton are going to walk this competition. And I think that's dangerous ground. I also think it's, how many teams are qualified for Europe in the Premier League this year? 9? Okay.
9.
And how many teams get relegated? 3.
Mm-hmm.
How many teams are left?
8.
7. No, so 17 once you remove the relegated. What's half of 17?
like 8.5.
So, I mean, we should we should qualify for Europe based on that, especially when you factor in that Chelsea, Spurs, and who else am I forgetting? Basically had unbelievably horrendous seasons. I think this is where I'm disappointed, right? Is not only what I've mentioned, but the fact is, of all the seasons where you could make Europa League, my word, was this your opportunity? Like, what an opportunity. You had a bunch of clubs that just didn't do what they needed to do. You had all of these places open because of the way things worked out with Villa winning and so on and so forth in the Europa League. It was perfectly set up. Just get 1 point from the last 2 games and you're in a proper competition. But so be it.
Well, the funniest thing is, well, let's talk Manchester United first, because at the end of the day, that was kind of where we left off, right? Like we were coming into the United game. Possibly the worst performance I've seen from an Albion side that needed to put in a performance I've ever seen. Obviously, that FA Cup semi-final, both of the ones we've been in, one went to penalties and the other one was under Houghton, and actually they did their best, right? Like they were a way worse team than what they are now. So both times they did okay, but they just kind of withered at the key moment. You're seeing the women's team now losing 2-0 to an insane Man City team in terms of payment. I saw that Brighton's wage bill is roughly around £4.5 million a year, and City are paying the striker who scored their first goal £1.5 million a year alone. So like there's the difference. That's
like, going to be up in the Conference League, by the way, so don't get too ahead of yourself.
Well, this is where I want to go with this, but let's do United first, because it was an absolute shocker performance all the way through, wasn't it? They absolutely destroyed us. Their second goal was played and committed to at a walking pace, and they still cut us in half. I cannot believe how poor that performance was. And as someone who was there, it was also very hot. It was just like a miserable afternoon in terms of the heat. And I've never quite seen a more bizarre atmosphere at a football game ever. Because once that third goal went in, and I have nothing good to say about any single football player on that pitch that was in blue and white, other than Lewis Dunk tried hard. Nobody else looked like they wanted to be there at all. Lots of players looked totally unwilling to commit to anything at all. Like whether it's World Cup on the mind or they're already on the beach, like that's a shocking mentality to have given what we were trying to do in that game. But the atmosphere itself was the weirdest thing I've ever been a part of, because once that third goal went in, everyone in that stadium knew we were done. That was it. Like, yep, we've lost. There's no way we're going to get anything from this game. So you essentially had 31,500 people using it as a meeting place to look at their phones to watch a Brentford game. which was so weird. Like, it was just so strange. And the game ends, and obviously everyone's still waiting, and the fact that the team is obviously all out waiting, and the result became secondary after that third goal, really. But the manner in which we capitulated from minute one was genuinely an absolute shocker, wasn't it? Like, I don't even know who to blame, because I think it's very hard to blame Hertzler for that performance, but I can blame him for the lineup because it was not the right lineup. So it's a weird situation. What were your thoughts watching that from afar as that game unfolded? Because for me, I didn't like the initial starting 11, but I understood exactly why he was playing it. He kind of wanted to bring in the older heads to like kind of steer them the right way. But also, if the players simply aren't interested in buying in, like, no manager in the world can be blamed if every single player is more interested in keeping themselves safe for a World Cup or can't be bothered, right? Like, you can't make everyone. Like, if it's a matter of kind of G'ing them up a little bit, that's fine. But like, it looked like it was the entire team had no interest at all, which is not good.
That's the really fascinating thing about it, because the Man United players seem to get over it. If anyone's going to be on the beach, it should be a Man United team who had, especially after the first goal, where was it? I don't know whether they even changed it because it ended up sort of being an own goal from Verbrugge, didn't it? If I'm thinking of the right one, Fernandez got his assist.
It was an own goal from Verbrugge, but I think the Premier League have just changed their rules for a game so they can give him the assist.
Yeah, sure, exactly. They're just like, yeah, screw it, whatever, give him the thing. But the point is, they'd done everything they needed to do once he got that assist. The rest of them, they weren't going to change in position. Nothing was going to matter. But they were able to overcome their lack of concern for the result and seemingly just walk around and play the ball around us and end up spanking us 3-0. I thought all the talk beforehand was, are Man United going to end up playing a bunch of kids and rest a bunch of players so that their top talent doesn't need to worry about getting injured or anything like that? Clearly, that memo did not get through to Michael Carrick, and he played a completely full-strength team. Obviously, Harry Maguire didn't have to worry about getting on the plane, so that was fine for him, and he could play properly. I thought this game highlighted... There were two players that really stood out for me as being utterly tragic, and it was Jack Hinchelwood and Diego Gomez. There were so many instances where they ended up losing possession, doing something silly. The first goal was created because Jack Hinchelwood tried to back heel in Man United's box.
Yeah.
And it's annoying because Hinchelwood has obviously been, despite my frustration with me not thinking he's a number 10 and him being played as a number 10 or whatever, a forward 8, depending on how you look at it. You can't argue with results. He's been scoring goals. He's been making stuff happen, and he's broadly been pretty good over the last few games. You could argue excellent. Him and Gomez were a disaster class. Gomez, especially. When Gomez has a bad day, it is the worst of days.
It's a bad day.
His floor is like a tunnel and a sewer beneath a basement. Like, that is how bad his day can get. And we just couldn't overcome that. But the thought that these players couldn't seemingly get together what would appear like inclination to even win was the biggest concern. And that you have to then go back to the manager. The manager's the one that has to get into these players' heads. Guys, we have a lot on the line here. All you got to do is not completely wet the bed in this game, and you're in a prime position. Like, remember, before we even kicked a ball, albeit a long shot, Champions League football was still a possibility. And some of the results at the start of the game opened up in a way in which that remained a possibility for a little bit of a while until it fell away.
Oh, it really did. We were looking at it where we were like, if we hadn't messed this up, we were in. Like, because Bournemouth had fluffed it for a while there.
And instead, what it ended up being is what you said. Everyone's looking down at their phones. And if it were not for a wayward header in the 90th minute against Liverpool, Brentford were going to Europe, and we were sat. I'm interested as to what people would have thought if that goal from Brentford went in, that header right at the end of the game against Liverpool, and we ended up finishing outside of the European spots. How everyone would feel then, because my word, what a change in perspective based on one single header.
There would have been endless Hertzler out, right? Clear the squad, get rid of like it would have been a fire everyone reaction. I think. It would have been an absolute disaster. I think it would have been pretty bad. And I mean, can you blame anybody? Like, that would have. Although I obviously saw the match of the day highlights after that once I got home, and it looked like in almost a 60 second span, Liverpool could have won and lost that game.
That sums up their season.
It was almost like they missed a chance right at the end, and then Brentford went promptly straight at the other end and missed one of their own. And I was like, oh my goodness, like it could have gone either way, and both messed up. Like, it really. Like, our fate really was like in the hands of two very erratic football teams, and you just didn't know what was going to happen. Thankfully, it worked out that both of them were too crap to score, I guess, because we still got what we needed.
We did, and I think if you look at it, maybe if you try and take a more positive spin on this, because Tim in the chat is calling out how he's halfway through started this glass half full, and now we're very much glass half empty situation. Man United have been the best team in the Premier League over the last few months, and that is a tricky game to play at the best of times. I know we've had some fortunate or good performances and good results against them in the not too distant memory, but they've been coming to play lately under Carrick. Now, we've seen Man United do this. It's going to be funny when it goes into the next season and the caretaker manager that they've made full-time manager invariably ends up falling apart and they're cycling through a new manager about 4 months into the season. We all know that will happen. But for the time being, we ended up facing down a pretty formidable Manchester United. I think for me, it goes actually back to you left your chances on the table against Leeds. That is the game that I think is I go back and look at and say, well, that was the one where you needed to make something happen and get this thing sewn up. But here we are. It's done. The season's over. I think there's a lot to be positive about and a lot to be less positive about over the course of the season, because I feel like we've seen everything from this club, all the good and all the bad, and it's going to be really hard to draw proper conclusions from it.
Yeah, it is. It's the most cliche thing to call it a season of like ups and downs or like a roller coaster season, but it really has been an insane season. We've had 13 game winless streaks. We've had 2 streaks that put us in the top 6. You've had fantastic results. You've had terrible, like there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason for where we're getting the results anymore. And until those final 2 games of the season, we were on par to match our points total from last year anyway. Like all that in, it was only those last 2 games of the season where everything kind of went to pot, where we dropped so many points that cut us away from where we would have finished the season before anyway, which is remarkably consistent for a team that got through an entire season looking inconsistent, right? It's so hard to know what to do there.
Yeah, but I this is a struggle that's been shared by almost every single other club in the Premier League. It has been a very weird season, and I think if you go through the table and you ask a straw poll of the fan bases whether they're happy or disappointed with their season, you could probably count the happy on one hand. It's been one of those, like Arsenal fans are happy, although you could argue after yesterday they ain't so happy. Which
not for the next week or so, but they'll be happy after.
They'll be happy after. But I can't believe we were all hoping for a nation state to be victorious. But I mean, thank God PSG won. I couldn't. Could you imagine the Arsenal fans if they won a double with the Champions League? I just don't want to. It's not even worth thinking about. So thank God that happened. Arsenal fans are going to be happy from Premier League perspective, obviously. City fans are going to be disappointed. They're going to be disappointed whenever they don't win. Manchester United fans, because they've been in such doldrums lately, you could say Manchester United fans are happy. Villa fans are going to be happy, right? So we've got 3 teams so far that are happy. Liverpool fans, not happy. Not happy. They just fired Arne Slot. Now they're probably happy. Rumours now that Mo Salah will come back now that the demon has been banished. You've got Bournemouth, who I think will be ecstatic with their season, but they're also now losing the guy that probably held it all together with duct tape and spit and glue. Sunderland fans, I think for me, story of the season, to finish 7th and get in Europa League with this Sunderland team, where no one predicted that at the start of this season. So they will be ecstatic. So you've got 5 teams there where I think the fan bases are happy. Now, let's go through the rest. Brighton, mixed bag. I think people are ultimately happy that we got Europe, but at the same time, it could have been a bit more than where it was. Brentford fans are going to ultimately be disappointed, I think, finishing 9th, no Europe. Chelsea fans, obviously disappointed. Fulham fans will be disappointed. Newcastle fans, I'll be surprised if they're not trying to jump in the time or whatever they're trying to. 12th with that amount of money is just horrendous for them. Everton,
going by this league and how weird it's been this year, we would have finished 12th last year with 53 points.
Right.
That's where the difference, like, that's the crazy thing. if we wanted to finish 8th last year, though, like we did, we scored 61 points. 6th place was 66 points. 66.
Yeah, that would have got you 4th this season.
They needed 3 more wins to be able to get there. The top 2, like, not so much, right? Like, Liverpool had 84, Arsenal 74, City 71. So that top 3 looks rather similar, right? It's 85, 78, 71. But after, like, this middle group, it's just an absolute mess. Like, that everyone, like you say, played so inconsistently that we've ended up where we've had an objectively worse season than last and got Euro and finishing the exact same place and got Euro.
Yeah, it's been a crazy season. The only other team that you could potentially even think about where they'd be positive at that we haven't talked about is Leeds United fans. They didn't get relegated and they finished 14th. Outside of that, everyone else, including most notably Spurs fans, I'm sorry.
And West Ham, right? Because I don't mean to catastrophize.
No, it's not that. It's definitely not that. Catastrophize. That's it, right?
Yeah. I don't mean to be too pessimistic for West Ham, but their existence is very much in doubt if they don't get promoted quickly. They are very much at risk of doing a Leeds Southampton maneuver of going down again, like, quickly. Their money situation, their wages situation, their stadium situation, all of it is like they're in big trouble if they don't get back up quickly. If they commit to coming up and go, don't come up, like, they are absolutely effed, like, worse than Leicester are. So for them, like, this is like really disastrous. Like, it's funny seeing them go down because they're West Ham, but like that stadium in the Championship, first of all, very funny. But they are really like it. They are in existential threat mode at the minute, and I think most West Ham fans know it, but I don't think too many people outside of it realize how screwed they are if things don't go well for them in this next 12 to 18 months. Like, they're absolutely screwed.
I don't know if I agree with that. And I say that purely because I think, well, firstly, it's Karen Brady stepped down, right? I think that's the first piece.
She has, yeah.
They're still owned, aren't they, by the guy that ran all the old dirty magazines and like, proper, like, shady money, aren't they?
Gold and Sullivan?
Yeah, exactly. But I think they are just too appealing a club to not have a potential buyer come in if things got too bad, whereby they would just get the finances to get them out of trouble. A London club, although it's kind of loaned, a big stadium despite the crappy atmosphere, big legacy, heritage, passionate fan base. It has all the hallmarks of, no matter what happens, an investor will come in and throw money at the problem. And I think they will be back in the Premier League in no time at all. That's my honest opinion. West Ham have done this before. It's not outside of the bounds of their history. In the last 10 years, I feel like they've been relegated twice. I feel like I can't even remember at this point, but they always drop back down and then they're back and then they buy a bunch of players and then sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, everything I've seen, there's a couple of ones that the football boardroom is like a creator, and the Price of Football have also said that they're essentially going to have to sell their entire squad this offseason with their relegation if they want to stay solvent and not get deductions for next year. They've lost 85 million this year and they're going to lose 85 million next year, which is obviously offset a little bit by parachutes, but not enough. So they better hope whoever's replacing Brady is a much better. Essentially, it rests on who it is that comes in and gives them that investment and backing, right? Because if they don't get the right person, the losses are the losses. They're going to have to just rely on kind of exploiting their venue as a place to hold events, which is a tough ask when Spurs are milking the shit out of that down the road already in a much better stadium.
Spurs, I'm sorry, but Spurs finishing 17th 2 seasons in a row is like, I don't even know how you what goes through a Spurs fan's head at this point? Because at least last time you had the Europa League trophy and the vibes and Ange. This year you've just sort of had just morbid bleakness for quite a lot, and now you've got a madman at the helm.
Well, we know that's going to end badly too, right? Like Spurs fans can be buzzing that they're up and now they're going to rebuild and become a big Premier League side again, but like most Albion fans will know that Roberto De Zerbi had one of the most lenient and easy to work with owners in the league, and he couldn't get on with it. It is going to end badly at some point or another.
Who even runs them nowadays? I can't even remember because it's
obviously it's not Levy anymore, but like it's like a group, isn't it? Or like a family, or like I don't know, but it's not going to end well. I can tell you that much. It's going to end badly. We all know it's going to. That's just who De Zerbi is. So it's ended badly everywhere he's gone, except for Shakhtar, where it never got a chance to end badly.
Well, maybe this time, this is the one for him. This time it's different.
Soulmate club.
I mean, I think we'll get back to Brighton, but there's a couple of things that I'm quite excited about. Not only, despite the fact that I've shat on the Conference League a lot, and Doom, if you missed the start of the podcast, your question is, are you guys happy with the Conference League? Go back and listen to the first 4 to 5 minutes of this podcast, and you'll hear that loud and clear. Josh is happy-ish, right? Happy.
I'm happy, and we're not finished talking about it either, because I want to talk about some of these teams that are in this Conference League this season as well, because like it ain't your daddy's Conference League. It's a much more like obnoxiously so, because of course it is. Like it's a much more difficult group of teams that we will play than any other English team before them, which is brilliant. Love that for us.
Yeah, of course.
But that Conference League group, like the ones that have been confirmed at least, Atalanta, right?
Yep.
Very good football inside. Getafe, football terrorists. So they're going to be a much more difficult team for anyone to play, as opposed to Vallecano, who made the final. Freiburg, who just lost the Europa League. So like they're already, like they were there. Like they're in they made the final of the tournament above us already. So that's good. Yeah. Right? Like that's very good. And Monaco, who are like, they're Monaco.
Oh no. Are we going to, there's a scenario in the future where Ansu Fati knocks us out of the Conference League, isn't there?
There is. And just as an addition here, it's not just them, right? Because there are a couple of teams knocking about in these other qualifying rounds where you go like, yeah, they're a joke. But like they're not, because we also have a couple of others that need to drop from the higher tournaments first as well. So there's going to be one or two other names come in as well. You've also got Ajax, who are, you just don't know, right? Like they're kind of rebuilding themselves at this point from the shock inside they were for a while. Braga, who are a half-decent Portuguese side all the time. You've got, let me see, who else have we got here? You got Copenhagen, who's always half-decent in Europe. They've been Champions League a bunch of times recently. You've got a lot of names here that I can read off that were Champions League like 2 years ago, not even just last year, in the smaller divisions. So it's going to be a much different group than we're anticipating, I think.
I mean,
we're still mostly doubt we are still very much outside of those ones that I just named in terms of the Getafe, Freiburg, Monaco, us. Like we are still very much in that group as a team that at least two of us should be in the final, right? Like that's what you would expect in this league right now.
And therein lies the problem. Therein lies my frustration. So based on what you understand now, what you know, based on what Palace have just done, based on the fact that West Ham won this competition not that long ago.
Thanks to Eagle.
Where are you? What are your expectations? Where are you happy with in terms of the European run this coming season? Because I will say one more thing before you answer that. There's people out there already, one of which sometimes does a podcast with us, where he's already booked a hotel for the final. Now, let me caution people booking their hotel in Istanbul. They haven't confirmed the bloody stadium is going to be in Istanbul. The final is either going to be in Istanbul or Ankara, where they're trying to build another stadium at the moment. If they finish that stadium, they will move the final to Ankara. Just so you know, for those that aren't up on their Turkish geography, Ankara not that close to Istanbul. You do not want to be staying at a hotel in Istanbul when a game is in Ankara. So don't go ahead and book your stuff quite yet, unless you want to have multiple hotels in different cities with cancellations. Go for it. But I bring that up because that's already the expectation of some of the members of this fan base, that they're booking hotels for a final. So what's a good outcome in this competition, Josh?
I think it really depends on who we draw and when. Right? Like, it's such a cop-out, but like I just, that's what I think. I think if we draw a team like Getafe, who we could draw in the playoff round and go out as the first ever English club to go out in the playoff round of Conference League football.
Before you finish, can you name a single player from Getafe for me?
No.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I wonder if they could for a Brighton team, though.
They definitely can.
Could they?
Yeah. Adam Webster, Solly March, they'll probably give, wouldn't they?
But they are a decent side, though. I don't like that. It's different. Now, if we get some like random Lithuanian side, obviously it's like the biggest memeable failure I've ever seen, which would be quite apt really for us. But if we get to the league stage, which we absolutely should, barring an insane draw, right? Because I believe anyone who can drop from the higher tournaments will be seeded as well alongside us, so we couldn't play them. Right?
And the league's a joke, right? Because Palace, where were Palace in the league this year? Like 12th? As in, I'm talking the Conference League. They were nowhere.
As in where they finished.
Yeah, it's an absolute farce.
They were in like mid-table, so they had a shocking tournament, frankly. Like, it's crazy that they went on to win it. But Oliver Glasner, at the end of the day, like, I hate them or whatever, like, he's a top manager. And 10th, they finished 10th. They played 6, won 3, drawn 1, lost 2.
Yeah, what a sham that league is. Oh, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and they had, for example, their games were Dynamo Kyiv, AEK Larnaca, AZ Alkmaar, Strasbourg, Shelbourne, and the Finnish team, that KUPS that we've talked about before. Yeah, not exactly. I mean, I would expect us to win a lot more than 3 of those games. So basically, I think a semi-final or a final is a minimum. That's where I think, depending on who we draw and when, right? Because if we draw a Monaco and they're flying in the league as well, and like they've got a couple of these world-class players because they always just keep eking them out, being Monaco, and we lose to them 2-1 across 2 legs, it's like everyone's going to meme us anyway, right? But it's a bit hard to be too annoyed losing to Monaco, who are usually in the Champions League.
Are they? So they came 7th this year in Liga, 7th in Liga, beneath Rennes.
What a team! What a team!
The famous 2025-26 Rennes team. So I mean, if you, I hate this data, but I'll give you the data. This is from Transfer Market. If you plug in the estimated squad value of all the teams in the upcoming Europa Conference League, top of that list is Brighton & Hove Albion. Estimated squad value of close to 500 million euros.
Of course, yeah, as they should be.
Atalanta about 413, Monaco 390. It drops off crazy down to Freiburg 239, Ajax 187, Braga 182, and then the big drop, 86 million Panathinaikos, 82 million Getafe. This is, for me, the problem is this. I think even if Brighton go on a path here, Get to the semi-final and get knocked out of this competition. Failure. I think it's a failure. I think most of the fan base is going to be disappointed and think it's a failure. Betting wise, we will be the favourites for the competition. You will have a target on your back in the competition as the one to beat. I think my bigger concern, and not to get people to get on the ledge here, look at the Manchester United game. Look at a lot of our games in our recent memory. Anytime this club, this team, has been faced with pressure, it's bottled. And Man United was a pressure game, bottled. Leeds was a pressure game, bottled. Roma, go back, hard game, bottled.
Should it have been a hard game?
Well, yeah, precisely.
If you're talking about Europa League, it's not that much bigger, right? Europa League teams and Conference League teams seem pretty interchangeable at times. So,
well,
when you're looking at those teams, would the fact that we had to go to the last game of our Europa League conference group, is that not a failure as well? AEK Athens were in the Conference League last season. Ajax are in the Conference League this season. Marseille finished second from bottom in the Champions League and were embarrassed last year. So and I'm sure our wage bill is miles bigger probably bigger than all three of them put together. So is that not a massive failure that we scraped out of that with a lucky goal at the end from João Pedro?
Yeah.
So really, it doesn't matter whether we had Europa League or Conference League.
But here's the difference.
Anything other than massive success is a failure then.
I think the difference was that was the first time everything was exciting. You got to go, and from a fan perspective, for those that were fortunate enough to have gone, you got to go and see your team play in Rome. You got to go and see your team play at Ajax. And let's face it, the Ajax team over the last few years has not been quite the same Ajax team as it was. At that point, though, Ajax was still a scary proposition. This was a point in our history where we had a lot of excitement. Things hadn't happened. We had Ansu Fati scoring against Ajax, crazy stuff. The highs are just higher in the Europa League. The teams that you get to play, the adventures that you get to have are higher. I think the problem in the Conference League for me, right, is every single team that you will face, you are expected to beat, no matter what. And my concern is this team hasn't shown the backbone or the mettle to deal with pressure. And when you go in as favourites, this is going to be an uncomfortable situation for this team because none of them, barring Danny Welbeck and James Milner, unless I'm forgetting someone, Pascal potentially, but Dortmund doesn't really count at this point, have been in a situation where they are expected to be the winners. Brighton has functioned throughout the Premier League history as we are the side that can outsmart you and outplay you and beat bigger teams. Well, you're now the big team in the Conference League. What are you going to do? That's the big question.
Well, I guess that takes us on perfectly to our squad needs, doesn't it? Accidentally on purpose. So I guess, do you want to talk a little bit, Max in the chat talking about that he's looking forward to a Hull away this season.
Someone's got to be.
Well, he's lived there for ages and haven't had the chance to actually go while he's there. So that it's one of those things
that would be quite nice,
exactly
wouldn't it?
What he means, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm 40-minute drive away from Coventry. So I'm buzzing that they've come up because it's even closer than Wolves.
Will they be managed by Frank Lampard, or will Frank Lampard be at Selhurst Park? Yeah,
well, that's hilarious if that goes through. I think it's probably going to end up being good for Cov in the long run if they get rid of him, because I don't rate him at all.
Well, don't worry, Iraola's going to Palace, right? Don't worry, they got that sewn up a while back.
So, two things to talk about before we go to squad management, because we do want to talk Solly March, Adam Webster, and others that we anticipate leaving either for fees or just at the end of their time. And we also have a whole talk about what we need to then feel European ready, right? And just depth ready in general. But what did you make of that promoted trio? Do you think it's another weak group, or do you think there is a team or two in there that can do a Leeds or Sunderland. Bear in mind, Sunderland were massive favourites to go down. They spent 100 million in the summer and stayed up and got Europe. So the cliche belief that like every team that comes up goes down these days, I like that it's been smashed to bits again this season. It's actually very rare, even in the last 10 years, to see all three back down. Odds are good in their favour that one might scrape it. Who do you think it could be out of all of them as it stands? And how do you feel about Hull coming back? First time in 15 years?
Yeah, why not? Why not? It's nice to see different teams come up. You don't want the same ones going up. Like, can you imagine how annoying it'd be to see like Norwich go up again? I just don't want to see it. Yeah, like come on. Firstly, I think it is a bit annoying to see Ipswich back. It's like McKenna. It's like Stats stood there right in the rearview mirror again. I still.
And that away day is terrible. They seat you in such a shocking area of the pitch, and it's so badly managed. That was a terrible night.
Well, unfortunately, I think I'm still probably going to be of the mindset that all of these sides are going to go back down next year. With the exception potentially, if they don't get the investment required, I think Leeds are going to be on the bubble. They did well this season, but is that really gonna last? Because I think you have to now compare with some of the other teams that are there. Like, are Sunderland going to fall off with the pressures of European football? Potentially. Like, that team is going to have to get a lot bigger squad-wise in order to compete on all fronts. And I think Sunderland bit off more than they can chew a little bit when it comes to qualifying for Europa League.
So do I.
You then have to look at it's crazy to think about, right? I'm looking at the table and I think, what sides are potentially on the bubble that these championship sides could maybe knock down. And I'm looking at 6th and 7th. I'm looking at Bournemouth and Sunderland.
Yeah.
Bournemouth are going to lose the man that held everything together. They already lost all their best players. They're all gone. So what does Bournemouth look like next year? Like, what a weird situation for that team to be. How do you feel as a Bournemouth fan? You must be like, this is great and awful at the same time.
I think they're very happy with Rose, though. I think they're really happy with that appointment. So I think that they're probably still very optimistic. I think.
Yeah, we'll see. I have my eyes on both Bournemouth and Sunderland and Leeds. But at the same time, I think they probably could all pull this off and stay up. It's all just guessing at this point because we don't know what level of investment all of the sides coming up are going to get, because Bournemouth and Sunderland have to spend a crap ton of money after qualifying for Europe. Now, are Hull and Coventry and Ipswich going to try and do this on the cheap? Or is Ed Sheeran going to get a checkbook out and see if he can, sign a veteran to keep him up? I think the other questionable side that you have to look at is Nottingham Forest. There's such a what are you going to get with Forest next year? They are such an embodiment of their owner, who was just recently seen in a brawl at some Greek sporting event with a shirt ripped off. Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to be on the relegation bubble, or are they going to try and qualify for Europe again? It's just weird.
You've said all that, but you've not mentioned the obvious one either, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, you're dreaming because of it." But
here we go.
A Glasner-less Palace in a higher level of European competition is they're just as much in danger. Surely their squad depth is shocking. They've not got. They don't know who they're getting. They still don't know who their manager's going to be. Glasner's gone. There's talk that 2 or 3 of their players are going to be off again. That they're going to be just as much down there as anyone else, right? Honestly, if we don't invest properly, we're probably in that conversation too, as an outside chance of screwing everything up. We're almost in it this year with no Europe, right? Until we rescued it. So it's hard to know. I have another question for you that's in the chat as well before we get to the squad management. And this was sent over in a survey. I don't know whether it was sent to all season ticket holders or all fans, to be honest, that my Albion fans or anything. But Imp in the chat says, with the conference away days, what is your view on ballots for away tickets, Prem and or conference? So this was a survey question that went out to fans from the Albion, and it was essentially they are considering putting aside 50 to 100 away tickets for each away game and blocking those who have the necessary fan points from buying them, and allowing everyone with a My Albion Plus membership to enter the lottery to win these tickets instead. They wouldn't be extras. They would be taken away from the usual allocation. How do you feel about that? I'll tell you how I feel afterwards, but because I've already responded to it. But how would you feel? How do you feel about the idea of? I don't think Europa Conference League is going to be as much of a problem, because I think that those allocations for the small teams is going to be so small. It's not an issue. Like, I don't think that the club are going to do that. They're not insane. I think it's going to be the Premier League really that they're going to do this in. So for maybe a Spurs game, right, that sell out on a Thursday, they will allow everyone to have a chance at them for 100 tickets out of the 3,000. What are your thoughts?
Well, it purely just is going to come down, just like everything. Does it benefit me or not? For me, yeah, sure. But I don't live close enough where I can get the necessary fan points to be able to buy this stuff. So yeah, give me a lottery ticket. I'll take it. Now, if I'm you, who does get fan points, but maybe doesn't have quite the level that some others do, and some idiot like me gets to take your spot, you're going to be pissed off. So as always, it comes down to what seat are you in, whether you think this is a good or bad thing. I'm assuming, at least, whether you've got some kind of other egalitarian perspective on it.
Yeah, no, 1 out of 5 hates it. I've been living here for 3 years again, right? Like, I moved back 3 years ago, and the missus and I have invested a lot of time and money and travel miles into building up our points over the last 3 years, understanding that that's the system that's in place, and missing out on a lot of games we would like to go to, and instead driving to a lot of places that we arguably wouldn't want to go to, right, in order to get those points. So the idea that those 3 years could just be like, yeah, we're going to give it to this guy instead, just does kind of make a mockery of the fact that I've invested quite comfortably thousands of pounds, right?
Well, hold on.
I've played by your rules for 3 years, and then you're just going to bend the rules a little bit and take that away. It would be quite annoying.
So riddle me this then, and people are going to get annoyed. What's your view on student loan forgiveness?
Student loan forgiveness. So you're going way too off the thing here, because which one, the US or the UK, and which band of the UK? If you
let's talk about the US one. You spent time over here, so I'm more just talking about the principle of, you have generations like us that went to university, we paid, we got our loans, we got screwed by all of that stuff, right? And now you're getting in a position where people go to college, go to university, and they will get loan forgiveness, essentially kind of feeling like a bit of a lottery. No one's giving you your money back. Your money's gone, but it benefits other people. And that's nice, right? So do you support that? And
yeah,
you do, but is that not the same?
No,
as the lottery?
No, I don't think it is. And I'll tell you why. Because I think that people who are applying for student loans are, at the end of the day, 17 and 18 years old, and they are simply not well equipped enough to understand what their student loan is and how it looks for them long term. Many of these people, even for us, right, who actually got pretty favorable student loans, right? Like, I don't know about you, but like, I got in at the back end of the $3,000 a year. So like, I got quite fortunate with this.
I took a gap year and got screwed.
Yeah, so that's not great. So I missed out on the $9,000 jump, right? Like when the Liberal Democrats stabbed an entire generation in the back and became irrelevant for the rest of their lives. But for the US especially, it's predatory from the bottom all the way to the top, right? Like, you can put in thousands and they just add the interest on and go, now you owe more anyway. Like it's one of the worst systems I've ever heard of in my entire life. And unfortunately for the new generation of English kids, they're having the same thing happen to them. But they're kids. They're kids at the end of the day. And I don't think now at 36, it's right to allow kids to sign themselves away in the way that adults are encouraging them to and have been encouraging them to for the last 26 years.
So you're saying the difference is that because you are an adult with mostly of sound mind, you have entered into the agreement with Brighton and Hove Albion of investing in your money and season tickets and going to games. You've earned those points. No one duped you into it at a young age, so therefore you should reap the rewards.
Yes, I know the way this works. It has worked this way for 15 years, and it's generally considered one of the fairer processes, structures, whatever you would say, in terms of the way fan ticket gathering, right? Like, because you've got teams still like Man City, I think, that you still have to enter a lottery for a large wave of those. And Man City fans hate it. But the thing is like, I know I'm never going to catch up to a lot of these people, right, who have been doing this for 15 years until they're simply just too old to keep going, right? Like they'll age out like anything. But I just think it's very different. Like student loans is massively different. I'm all for student loan forgiveness, even if it doesn't include mine.
I would say
I can look at predatory behavior like that and not like it. But the idea that I've spent 3 years purposely of time and money to earn these points to be able to gain access to Brentford away to tick off a stadium, right? And I don't get that ticket for somebody who has never gone to a Brighton game north of London in their life. It's like
it's scary up there, though. It's scary up there.
It is a little bit scary, but it is quite shit.
I would say that in some ways, supporting a football team isn't that distant from student loans, in that typically what happens is you are encouraged at a young age by a parent or grandparent to go down a pathway, support this club, you're going to come along, or go to university, you've got to get a good education, got to get a good job. You are then basically duped to invest a lot of money in both of these things from a young age, indoctrinated, if you will. And then eventually you are hopefully in a position where you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. I think there's quite a lot of parallels between the two. I will say, though, someone like Max, who we just mentioned in the chat, right, is looking forward to Hull away, lived in Hull for ages. He's not going to have the points. The lottery for him to go watch that game is a wonderful thing. And is it not? Should it not be a thing? Max clearly engaged with the club, is listening to two idiots talk about Brighton and Hove Albion on a Sunday. He deserves to go to the game, but otherwise, how would he get to go? So
I would argue that Hull away is not going to be popular enough, and that as long as he's in that band, he'll be fine. Honestly, I think that's one of those things where you just have to look at it and go,
"It's got an asterisk."
Hull away, I think you're all right, mate.
Yeah. All right. There you go, Max. You're fine.
A bit like if someone lived in Burnley, right? And it's just like, oh, perfect. It's like, oh, I don't have enough points. I think you'll be just fine.
There's no way they'd be on this in this podcast. I don't think they've got the internet.
No, probably not. But yeah, I don't think Hull's going to be an issue for Max. I think he'll get it just fine. Most games up north don't really have a problem at all. Other than the only time I've had a game up north have any issue with tickets was Everton this year, because everyone wanted to go to the shiny new stadium first away day of the season.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't have thought of going anywhere worse, because you knew that we won't win it because it's Everton's first home game in their new stadium. Like the stats behind opening games in home stadiums is horrible. We don't want to go there, and we got beat by them, so it didn't work out. Let's talk, because we are almost an hour in. Let's talk.
Was that bit on the plan, where the student loan bit?
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't there. Okay, all right.
No. This is why the bullet points are intentionally like small these days because I give up trying to corral, especially me and you on our own. So at least like when Craig's on, he can like give us a look that's like Jesus Christ, and I can realize, like,
disappointment.
All right, so farewells. Adam Webster and Solly March have announced over social media over the last couple of days they will be leaving. Solly March, local legend, love him, hate him, bit of both across the years, right? Like where he's underperformed and overperformed, but he is very much one of our own, as they say. Over 300 appearances for the club, got promoted to the team in 2013, so that's a long time. The journey from championship football to actually playing in Europe, wing back under Potter, inverted winger under De Zerbi. He played just about everywhere that you could ask for a player to play. He played left, he played right, he played wing back on both sides, full back on both sides, central attacking midfielder under Houghton a couple of times as well. He did just about everything you would want him to do. To me, he also scored the winning goal that got us promoted, of course, against Wigan. What a legacy, right? I love the guy. I think we all probably have nothing but nice things to say. I would love to hear your thoughts on his decision to call it time at the club, and where do you think would be a great fit for what a Solly March rebuild project looks like at his age, given he's had 2 ACL injuries in a row that have took him out of football for the best part of 28 months almost, with a couple of games in between, at 31 years old.
Well, he's still technically with the club, right? His contract won't expire just yet.
For a month, yeah. 30th of June, usually, isn't it? I think that's the...
I think so.
Football manager standards. So
and that's our main point of comparison for everything. So that will put him to 13 years at the club, and that also puts him at current time 3rd on longest serving players at Premier League clubs. Number 1 is Seamus Coleman. Number 2 is Lewis Dunk. So
Coleman, of course, who's leaving this summer as well.
I mean, he was 17 and a half years, which is my word.
So that pops him straight back at, like, that puts Dunkey to the top by quite a clear distance, I believe.
Dunk is going to be at the top by 3.5 years, next to a 35-year-old Adam Smith at Bournemouth, and 30-year-old Luke Shaw at Manchester United, following close behind. Solly March, for long-time listeners, sorry to start with, but for long-time listeners, they'll know that I went through long stretches of time deeply frustrated about Solly March. And he proved me wrong quite heavily under De Zerbi. And he was, at one point, for a brief moment, a wonderful, brief, transient moment, Solly March was one of the best wingers in the Premier League under Roberto De Zerbi. And that could not have been more shocking and surprising to me. And it was great to see. I think at this particular point in his career, it's a shame. The injury was a massive shame, because what a different situation this could have unfolded as if he didn't get injured. He's just playing the best football of his career, can do it under a newer manager. What can we see out of Solly March to bring his sort of time at Brighton to an end? And instead it ends as it has. He is not a Premier League winger anymore, unless he has some kind of miraculous, amazing recovery, which I don't think is on the cards. And even if it was, clubs won't have seen that yet. So he's not going to get the draw of a Premier League club. The only exception would be that one of the promoted teams.
That's what I thought.
Hull.
Max is on his way. Neighbours.
Max is going to get down to Hull. Tell him to bring him in for a trial. But I see him at a Championship club where he can do something, maybe come off the bench, work his way back from injury, because that's still going to be a process. He's still not fully fit, as we've seen. And by the way, I'll move on to Adam Webster as well, because I think we can draw similar parallels. my opinion on Adam Webster has been, I've questioned his ability at times, is probably the nicest way of putting it. Another one where it's a shame where it's ended with an injury, a frequently injured player, at times was excellent, at times was appalling. Let's be honest.
£20 million he cost us from Bristol City in 2019, club record at the time. And to be honest, until about 2023, I would say we made our money back comfortably there. I think his latter years, agreed. Like he really fell off as soon as his injuries started. Really, he's never really it never really came back. But over 140 Premier League appearances for us, and that partnership him and Dunk struck up under Potter, and the way he would maraud forward.
Oh yeah.
2022 and before. Right, like, so I'm not an idiot. Like, this last couple of years have been very tough on Adam, but like 2022.
So, yeah, tell me about it.
he also was a rare centre back that the Albion had that was quick as well. Like, he actually had a fair bit of pace to him until he kind of, everything went wrong. So, like, I used to love watching Adam Webster just ball forward.
Van Hecker before Van Hecker.
He really was, and they even go forward similarly. And I think as a dressing room presence, I think it's very clear to every player in that squad that Webdini is a big presence. He's a very big personality, Webster. He will be missed from a personality standpoint, I guess. Like, how does the dressing room replace that level of memory and leadership? Well, we talk about the almost bottle culture. Is it a good thing to start seeing some of this era leave and instill a more cutthroat winning culture? Or is it going to be one of those things where we don't realize what we had till it's gone in terms of that backroom group? And I mean, what do you think about for me, I've got nothing but good things to say about both of them for us. Injuries derailed both of those careers. And their poor performances came directly after these injuries that affected them. So at the time, I wasn't very polite to Adam Webster when he was being bodied by Erling Haaland, right?
I was going to say, I literally brought that up on my screen. I was like, that was the moment you knew it was over.
It really sadly was. But what do you think it looks like for Adam Webster and his future? Because he is, what is he now? How old is Adam Webster? Have you got it in front of you?
I don't. I can guess at 34. Do you want me to guess? I'll say 34.
I don't think he's that old.
He's 31.
Way. He's 31.
Rounded to the nearest 34. Yeah, he's 31.
He's 31 years old. He has been a Premier League centre-back his whole life, other than a brief stint through the Championship and coming up. To me, I think here's an unpopular one because some people really don't like them as an Albion fan. Go back home. Go to the Euro G. Go back to Pompey. Lower League Championship team. It's where you started. You don't have to go far, right? Like, it's not like going Hull from Brighton, right? Like, or someone else in here, Dignity, saying, why doesn't Solly go to Hearts? Could you imagine? What a move that would be with twins and like a whole life down there. I don't think Solly's going to go north of London if he's going to go to another club. I could see him going to a Southampton or such a team to try and rehab himself. But where do you see Adam Webster going?
Somewhere where they already have a solidified backline pairing and he can come on in spells and replace them from an injury standpoint as needed. He can't play game in, game out at this point. Like, when's the last time he was able to play a full season? I don't even remember. So
2022, I think. To be it's 21, 22.
Yeah, bless him. It's been a while, but he's never gone north. Well, he's born in Sussex, wasn't he? And he's Portsmouth, Ipswich, Bristol, and Brighton.
Yep. That's what I mean. Like, I think it's going to be somewhere London and south again. Like, I just don't see him going any further north than that.
What's QPR doing nowadays? Where are they at? God, I have no idea.
Seems such a waste of space. Let's talk other players that haven't left yet, but there are inevitable question marks about all of them. So I'll list them in my opinion, and you can talk about any of them you want.
Okay.
So let's talk about a couple, or just bring up a couple. Joel Veltman, James Milner, and Danny Welbeck.
Okay.
And Lewis. Let's talk about all four of them, given that Welbs and Lewis are both 35.
So
what does Joel impact look like next year?
Joel Veltman's contract runs out in 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've been heavily rumored to be buying some right back, Greek right back, haven't we? What's the guy's name? Do you remember?
Costinha?
Something like that. That sounds right. We've been desperate for a right back for a long time.
A real one? Yeah.
A real, honest to good right back. But that Adam Webster played right back a little bit, didn't he, for us? But at least he was on that position on the pitch.
Yep.
I could see them doing a 1-year extension for Veltman, and I could also see him walking away tomorrow. I think you're very much more of the opinion that he's going to be gone.
I think he will, yeah. Sadly.
And by the way, I will say I've had caveats to Solly. I've had caveats to Adam Webster. You won't hear a bad thing from me. When Veltman leaves this club, I think he's been an absolute, for the amount he cost, for what he's brought, for the positions he's played, for his attitude, for all of it. Veltman is what a wonderful player he's been for this team. Wonderful.
He's one of my favorite Premier League players of all time for the Albion. Like easily, like unreal. Yep.
Yeah. So that will be sad to see him go. But I could absolutely see it. Danny Welbeck will be 36 later this year, but has a contract. He signed a contract extension until 2027, June 2027. He
does. He has the extra year. Yep.
So Welbeck's going to be around now.
I'm more talking what does his impact look like? Him and Dunk are staying, right? Like we know that. What role do they play in this Albion team next year?
Well, this is where I think the
transition from 11 to squad or not.
That's exactly the word I was going to say. I think you're going to start seeing this as a transition year. And I think he would have started, if it wasn't for Danny Welbeck's renaissance and Seamas's injury, I think this would have been the year that you would have seen slightly less of Danny Welbeck, especially during that. Danny Welbeck fell off in the latter half of the season expectedly. Of course he would. Probably one of the reasons he's not going to play for England. Tuchel's just like, I don't know. I'm going to go pick some dumb picks instead. So I think Welbeck, depending on how Seamas comes back from his injury, you'll see more of Seamas over Welbeck. Is Herzler actually going to play Kostulas more regularly in the 9 role? Hopefully. I hope the club looks to sign a striker this year. I think we're still light. You've got a guy coming back from an ACL, a 19-year-old, and a guy about to turn 36. You need another body. So they'll run Danny Welbeck until the wheels fall off. But he'll play. The wheels will fall off, is what I'm trying to say. And I think you'll see less of him next year. With Lewis Dunk, my expectation here is you're gonna see a lot more of Olivier Boscagli this coming season. A lot more. Because you've got to remember as well, right? Despite my slight caveats, you're playing European football. And if everything goes well, you're playing a lot of European football. So you're going to need more depth. You're going to need more rotation in the team. So you can't rely on Danny Welbeck and Lewis Dunk to be playing week in, game out. But I think you'll see a lot more Olivier Boscagli. I don't know if Jean-Paul Van Heck is going to be here. Maybe another club is desperate for a guy that is going to play the ball back to an opposing number 9. So we'll see if he gets his move. If you're losing Veltman and you're losing Van Hecker and you've got Dunk, who picks up knocks every now and then and is always going to get enough yellow cards to get a game ban, you're going to need another defender as well. So I don't know if that answers what you're thinking, but
to me, I think Welbeck is the obvious plug and play European striker. I think if he only plays cup competitions, a handful of Premier League games and European football this year, he's going to score enough goals and be prolific enough to get you through most of those European ties. That's the level of teams we're going to be playing at the end of the day for a lot of those games. Welbs is a perfect player to cruise through some of those games and drag us to victories if we're playing especially poorly. Donkey, I agree with. I think we'll definitely sign another centre back because I'm going to bring up outgoings for money here shortly. But I think Coppola is going to absolutely stay at this football club next season as well.
I thought there was rumours of him getting bought by Paris.
I don't think so. I think he's going to come back and he's going to play football here. He played a lot of football for Paris and was quite good. I think he's definitely Conference League level. So it would not shock me in the slightest to see a Coppola dunk backline in Europe or a Coppola Boscagli's backline in Europe. Yeah, I think he will be there, but I still think we need one more, right? Like we can't go with just three. And then Milner, you haven't really talked about him too much, but he's out of contract in 30 days.
Yeah, they're 100% going to sign him to a 1-year extension. 100%.
You think?
Yeah. I would say cash in. Someone mentioned in the chat. Yeah. No, they'll sign him to an extension. Purely just to shepherd in and back to what we said, have that experience to say to the players, chill out when they're away at Panathinaikos and about to bottle it. You want James Milner there.
18 games for Blackburn since January, and they love him. So if Cashin is not going to come back and play any football, I think we will recoup most of that.
No, we won't, because his contract is up. So he's going to leave on a free.
He's going to bounce. All right, fair enough.
I think.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I don't know what his contract looks like at all.
I'm pretty sure I saw that, but I could have also made it up. I need to double check.
Let's talk players that are probably going to leave for money this summer. I also really need to pee, so I might have to run in a minute and then come back. So I might just let you monologue a little bit about
No, I lied. Cashin has a way longer because he signed a renewal. Maybe he's in for ages. So yeah, maybe we'll get some money back for him. I did make it up.
All right, so let's talk about a couple of players, and we could just kind of go through these as well. Jan-Paul van Hekke, Carlos Baleba, obviously, Bart Verbruggen, which is a pretty big one, and the really obvious one, I think, as well, is the goalkeeper role in general. What does that also look like for Cole Rushworth, who is coming up as one of the best young English goalkeepers going as well? So those three players are likely to be leaving the club this summer, per every report you can hear. Baleba and Van Hekke have 1 foot out, right? And I think Verbruggen is less certain, but still very much on people's shopping lists. So in terms of those three and where they stack up, what sort of money are you looking for each of those? And do you think that all three go? Or like, what are your thoughts on that? And I'm going to be right back. But yeah,
I've just got a riff. All right,
listen.
Well, let's
yeah.
Listen, you can come and disagree with me when you get back. Van Hekke is a weird one to me because I think I have mixed feelings about him in that he's been at times the best player on the pitch quite regularly. His ability to run forward, create opportunities, and actually be a threat at the other end of the pitch is massive. He's also made some utterly brain-dead decisions multiple times that have cost us goals and cost us games. And you could arguably say, similar to Verbruggen, right? We're all aware that he's had the susceptibility for a howler and then has pulled off world-class saves. And that's obviously the appeal that a lot of other bigger teams have seen. Can we get a young Dutch goalkeeper that has incredible highs in potential, and hopefully he rids himself of some of the problems and the mistakes that he makes? I think Van Hekke is going to do everything he can to get out. I think the club is probably going to do everything they can to get Van Hekke out. And the reason I say that is because his contract is up in 2027. You have to sell him now, or his value will tank. You cannot let Van Hekke leave on a free in June of 2027. You absolutely cannot. So I think they sell him. I think he's a 1 year left on his contract. I think he's a 30 to 50 million pound player because he has 1 year left on his contract. Is he worth more than that? Absolutely. But everyone else is they're just gonna wait. They'll wait him out. I don't think Verbruggen goes. If he does, I'm not heartbroken, purely as you say. I don't think you can conceivably keep Verbruggen and Rushworth at this club any longer. You have to pick
definitely
one.
can't. If you're gonna, if he's not gonna go, unfortunately, we have to sell Carl Rushworth for money, and I have a horrible feeling it's not going to age well.
Potentially not. I know, but I also think I wonder what the club is trying to decide there. And let's be honest, there's been a lot of talk in the last year of Verbruggen leaving the club and going to various other names out there, bigger names. Don't forget the potential that this club has of seeding information out there to get potential buyers. The club might look at this and go, we have to pick between one of them. We actually prefer Rushworth. We've just lost 2 English players. Solly March, homegrown English player, Webster English. You're going to lose Lewis Dunk. They have quotas that they have to keep up. The goalkeeper isn't. If you've got a set and forget English goalkeeper for the next X amount of years, that solves a whole bunch of problems for you. That would be the only question. Someone's put Beadle as well. I mean, I think you've probably got more time to buy on Beadle.
I totally agree. I think he's another championship loan again. I think the question mark around his future and making a decision is probably 2 years away, actually. I think you've got quite a bit of cushion.
He's 3 years younger than Rushworth. I mean, yeah. And I think
though, little bit of a statage for you: 3,420 minutes. Didn't miss a single second of Premier League action this season.
Yeah. And there were moments where he was absolutely excellent. All these players. The reason why we're talking about them leaving is because, we're talking about them leaving to big boy clubs, like Van Hecker going to Liverpool, who have just lost Konate.
Going to Liverpool. I have been convinced since about Christmas that he's going to Liverpool, and he's going to partner Van Dijk for a year, and then he's going to step into those shoes. But then you've then got the other piece though, right? Where it's all the rumors coming out about De Zerbi, because Spurs have just lost Romero, right? They're losing Romero, and you've got who's the centre back that they've got? Isn't he Dutch as well? What's his name? Van der Ven.
Yeah, he's got a Van in his name. So which Van do you want to accompany? De Ven or Dyke? That's probably where he ended up.
Well, that's the weird thing for me as well, right? Like, they're talking about like a Verbruggen and a Baleba as well, even going to Spurs. Like, De Zerbi didn't like them. That'd be a weird signing. Like, it was just, I think all that's just easy paper talk. Like,
I think it is. It is.
Van Hecker is probably the least baity and actually true, like for the Spurs situation, and Matt O'Reilly as well, which we've not talked about, but that would be fine.
Van Hecker is going to be off, and he's going to go to a big team. Carlos Baleba. I don't know what to think about Carlos Baleba anymore.
Well, he's definitely no doubt in my mind has he got.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You think he's not?
I mean, there's so many surprising things that happen in this day and age that I wouldn't be stunned if he stayed another year. He's contracted until 2028. The club isn't. There were times this season when he did come back. I'm not talking about the start. There were times when he came back in, and I started feelings I hadn't felt for a long time, Josh. As in, he came on, and he's just such an electric player that it creates a completely different vibe in the game when he comes on and he's feeling it. And that when he gets the ball and he drives forward and he goes and sprints back 20 yards and tackles someone that he had no chance of catching, like he is, I will miss Carlos Baleba, despite the fact that he downed tools and looked like complete shit for quite a while. When he's on it, he is a really, really wonderful player. And I also think if he were to stick around for a little bit longer, he can redeem some of that feedback. because he's obviously tanked his value a decent amount after some of the performances he put in. There's still a really good player in there, and if he does want to play for Brighton a bit and get back to his best, I wouldn't be averse to seeing that. I know, obviously, he'll leave tomorrow. Now I've said all this.
Yeah, I would rather just bin him off now. I don't have any faith in him coming back. He doesn't seem a particularly emotionally intelligent lad because he can't be able to bring himself to play football across an entire 38 game season. So, and like he spent the entire year twerking for United through every outlet he could. So I'd rather just get rid. I know we're not going to get what he's worth, but I think we can still get a fair bit on him for now. So I'd rather just bin. Gruder staying at Leipzig as well seems like a loan with obligation to buy. I think it's actually probably just going to be a straight sale. I think he's just going to go. Too much too soon for Gruder, I think.
Yeah.
Also, just not a particularly good fit for the team that Hertzler was putting together. So I really hope, in terms of incomings this summer, that we see a much better group of players coming in that are suited to what is. It's had 2 full years in the Premier League now. This summer should be a very productive one. Do you agree? I think we need to sign a fair few players, especially if we're going to be getting rid. Well, not getting rid, because losing is probably a better term in terms of some of these players that we will be selling on. We need to be having a pretty productive summer transfer wise, and they need to be a lot better than the 1-2 years ago, right? And
yeah,
we can't use the excuse of what we've been looking for. David Weir's gone, right? Like, he's been out of the picture for a while now. This Ato fella's been here for a year or so.
Yeah, it's time for Potato to step up, isn't it?
It's time for him and Hertzler to get the guys that we are expected to get that actually play football the way Hertzler wants them to play and can buy in quickly and aren't having to change their entire position to get game time or just not play at all. Those players that are already in the team that I think have a future that didn't play a lot this season. I think you've got players like Georgie, who Hertzler continues to say lots of very nice things about. It's very pointed that he's not said nice things about Costolos, right? I think he likes Jorginho a lot. I'm not sure he knows quite what to do with him yet. I think they're growing and figuring that out together. I think he's got very lucky that Welbs has been as good as he has been again. I don't think Ruta knows what he is. No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But a player like him is going to be a very good one in Europe. He's just the sort of player in that level of European football that's going to do really well.
Yeah, he's such a. I don't know. I know probably everyone feels the same about Ruta in that I always want to see him play because he's exciting, and then sometimes he is anonymous or shocking. And you're like, oh, please don't do what you're about to do. It's not the time to do it. And he does something just nonsensical. And it's really frustrating because I think we can all see that there is a guy that is on the verge of being a really, really good player. And he's not quite figured out how to go from sort of trick merchant in a lot of instances to incredibly effective, skillful player week in and week out. The consistency is not there with Ruta at all.
Not at all.
I do want to go back to Baleba really quickly. I know I cut you off. The main guy at the Athletic that covers Manchester United, when talking about Carlos Baleba, said the other day, I was strong on it 2 or 3 months ago in the direction that it was headed to a signing, but it's been a cooler since that point. United could look past the season he's had and the different factors that went into it. Maybe Brighton is still demanding a significant amount of value or a significant amount of money that United don't match. He's someone they continue to monitor, but maybe they've decided to go in a different way. It doesn't feel warm. So,
that value is depreciating every single game he refuses to play. So that's my fear. If he's going to do the same thing this season as he's done next season as he's done this season, what was £100 million player is going to go for £25 million.
No, behave yourself. I think he's
next summer.
Oh, next summer with a year.
Well, if he does this again, yeah.
If he does it again, yeah. I mean, he's got 28
if he comes back and plays like a season at Copa, but like, of course, then it's a totally different ball game. But I just don't think he's going to. I think he's done. Like, he's down tools a year ago, and he's not interested.
Straight swap Alexis McAllister for Carlos Baleba. How bad did you bite their hand off for it?
I would bite it up to the elbow.
Straight through the bone.
Yeah.
I would. Well, that would be lovely. Would I? Getting McAllister back to sort of renew his career again would just be, wonderful.
So you're on board with that? See, I was going to bring him up today, and I thought Adam's going to hate this one.
Well, I think it's stupid. It's not going to happen. But I like the thought of it.
No, I think if he does leave, he's going to leave to a bigger club than us.
Yeah, of course. He earns too much money now as well. Like it's just.
Yeah, he'll be going to a big like Italian side or someone like that. Like he would go to, even though he probably wouldn't earn that much more money. But Tim would drive him to Anfield. Yeah, I would love him to come. I don't think he will. I don't think that's realistic at this stage of his career. He's about to play in yet another World Cup for Argentina. He's not coming back to Brighton.
Can I say something that's going to come back and bite me in the arse in a big way?
Hell yeah.
I think Argentina are going to be the biggest flop at the World Cup. Absolutely gigantic flop.
Okay.
I think they're going to be awful. I think they'll go out early. Hot take.
Interesting.
Very hot take.
I think that would, but with Brazil.
But I feel like that's very plausible with Brazil though, because they've been crap for quite a while. They nearly not qualify. Is that this one or was that the previous thing?
Third favourites with the bookies, behind Spain and France.
I'm sorry,
so you say that, but like the general public say that they're third favourite. I'm not
taking Neymar as an absolute. Like taking Neymar over João. I'm sorry, it's funny because we obviously dislike João Pedro a fair amount now. But what are you doing?
In fact, you can get the same odds on Brazil or Argentina. They're considered roughly the same. Depending on where you're betting at, you're getting roughly the same odds. You're getting 8-1 at Bet365, both the same. Betfred, same. Like all of like the big ones, Sky Bet are giving like 9-1 and 10-1 on Brazil and Argentina. So like they're considered by the bookies roughly the same.
I don't see it. I don't know. Brazil can show up just purely because they're stacked with enough quality at this point. They've got, despite his penalty miss, between Gabriel and Marquinhos, they're good in defense in that regard. They've got really strong holding midfielders, and we know their attack is just going to be, I mean, between Vinicius and Rafinha and all the other idiots they have, I can see that. Argentina is a lot less obvious to me. I don't see it. They're playing with 10 men. Where every time Messi plays, they're playing with 10 men.
Yes.
Messi, in my opinion, is the greatest player that has played of all time, and I think he's a liability. He's a liability. I think
as soon as he gets to the big games, I think so. Group stage, I think he'll be great because he's playing teams that are at MLS level.
Sure.
But once he gets to those big games, I think you're absolutely right. He's going to be a passenger against a team like Spain, against a team like, I mean, like I know it's bigging people up, but like against a team like France, Spain, England, anyone like that, like England included, like you can't have that much of a luxury player against any of those teams.
No.
At this time in Messi's life, he is not at the level he needs to be uber competitive with a Declan Rice, which is ridiculous 4 years ago. But now, sadly, it's just true because Father Time is undefeated.
Well, you say the same about Portugal with Ronaldo. This is the last time we'll see
Absolutely,
them.
I say the same about
You know,
Portugal. I've been saying that about Ronaldo for 3 tournaments.
It's
He's derailed Portugal's tournaments for like almost 3 tournaments in a row now. The ego and central area that Ronaldo is has cost Portugal, I feel.
Yeah,
which is good because screw him.
Yeah, exactly. Screw them. But they're another one where it's going to be nice to see these guys one last time score some silly goal against, a Curacao or similar. But realistically, I hate that I'm saying this. I despise that I'm saying this. I'm back in England.
Oh my God. Well, that's that then.
Yeah. I hate that I'm saying it.
We had no chance to begin with, but we have negative chance now. Adam's just said that England are going to win the World Cup.
There's
absolute psycho behavior.
Who is the most informed player in world football right now?
Harry Kane.
Harold Kane.
Is his name actually Harold?
I don't know. It could be.
Okay. No, I don't. Actually, don't.
It definitely could be. It definitely could be. Yeah.
His name is Harry Edward Kane, not Harold. Absolutely ridiculous.
We'll give him Harold though. I don't.
Hazard.
I don't think the England squad has despite Tuchel's best attempts, I don't think the squad has a gigantic weakness. I can't believe Dan Burn is going. I cannot believe Dan Burn is going. But
especially when for the first time in about 5 years of call-ups, Harry Maguire deserves the call-up. He's not got it.
Yeah,
he's not deserved it for the best
weird.
part of 4 years. And then he finally gets to a season where actually, yes, he should be on the plane. And we now decide not to bring him. That's just absolutely mind-blowing to me. I do not understand that at all.
It's just pure. It comes down to style of play, that what Tuchel wants out of his centre backs, and it's not that. I think what's the weirdest thing is the England team is going to have 2 Barcelona forwards playing.
Of course,
that's
2 Barcelona left wingers.
That's so. Think about some of the main players in our team. We've got a Bayern Munich Harry Kane, Barcelona Gordon and Rashford, Real Madrid Jude Bellingham. Is this one of the most non-England teams that we've seen in recent memory? Don't forget Ivan Toney. Who does he play for? It's one of the Al's.
A Saudi team.
Yeah.
Insert Saudi team here. Yeah.
Al Hilal. I want to say it's Al Hilal.
Okay. Don't know. Not a
it could be that. Yeah, this is yeah, I think it's England's. I don't think Spain do it again.
No, I don't think they do either. Tim,
who have you got?
It's possible for the US to meet Iran at any point. I mean, we get told off for talking about politics in here, but I'm still not convinced Iran make it to the World Cup. Some hijinks are going to go down politically.
Well, they're hanging out in Mexico now, aren't they? That's what
they are. That's the right choice as well, by the way, given that the sitting president talked about their players not being safe.
Yeah, probably not great, is it? Probably not great.
All right.
So who are you? I know we're not. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. But who do you think wins the World Cup?
I am really sad, and I think it's going to be France.
That is bleak.
I really don't want it to be, but I think it's going to be. Who do you think it's going to be?
I told you who I think it's going to be.
Oh, okay. You're actually dying on that hill.
And it will be the death.
Yeah, it will be. It will join the Solly March's crap and don't re-sign Pascal Gross Hill. that Adam has built brick by brick.
I mean,
is that this year's biggest podcast shit take, that signing Pascal Gross is a bad decision and we shouldn't do it, given his impact on the second?
Is that what I said verbatim? I think, I think I said I don't know what he's going to do for the. Yeah, it was a bad take.
It was almost exactly what you said. That he doesn't offer anything.
He doesn't offer anything.
Already have.
No, he doesn't offer anything. Yeah, I would say I think maybe up there in the this year or the previous year where I said I think James Milner's going to be our talisman, one of our better players, and he immediately got injured.
Oh, well, that would have been last
and was
year.
crap. Yeah. Look, broken clock. Twice a day.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
be
why we
on it.
don't get paid to do this.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
the love of the game.
Yeah.
Talking about this Brighton squad, then looking at what we've got going in to this next season, and we'll do this, and then we'll kind of give player of the seasons and season grade, and then we'll kind of wrap up because we're an hour and 35 minutes in.
Yeah, this is an absolute slog for people, isn't it? Yeah.
Our goalkeeper group right now is Bart Verbruggen, Tom McGill, Jason Steele. Happy with that group? We good? Set and forget? If Verbruggen leaves,
is it though?
Right. That's what I'm asking you. If that group leaves, if Verbruggen leaves, then Rushworth replaces him. I think that's quite obvious to everybody.
Yeah.
So that group of four, are you happy with that group of four, bearing in mind one of those two leave? Going into next season, at the end of transfer deadline day, is that a goalkeeping core? You're good with that?
Well, McGill and Steele only got a year left on their contract.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good in the sense that providing the number one keeper doesn't get injured at any point, yes. But I'm not happy about the backup.
That's fine. But that's going to be the group, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty obviously going to be the group. Okay. Defenders, right? Right backs. As of right now, assuming Veltman leaves, which seems to be my feeling and generally the media's feeling seems to be from a couple of the Argos and that seem to think that that's his last game. We have Matt Sweefer and we have Ferdi Kadioglu as a potential right back. Do we agree that definitely needs work?
I think you could bring in a private jet, a fully fit 25-year-old Cafu into Brighton and Hove Albion, and Hurstley would still play Weaver at right back.
He's on the plane to the World Cup, by the way, to explicitly play as a right back.
It's one of the biggest psyops I've ever seen. Yeah, I don't know what's going. I think Matt Sweefer. It's Matt Sweefer is your right back until otherwise shown. Even when we sign this Greek guy, I think he's going to be there to spell Matt Sweefer. But yeah.
So we definitely acknowledge that right back is a place that we need to reinforce this summer.
Oh, it has been for how long? 8 years?
Time memorial, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Centre half. We will have Lewis Dunk, Diego Coppola, Olivier Boscagli, and Igor and Aaron Cashin as the centre backs we have prior to movement. We both probably agree that Igor and Cashin will not be Brighton and Albion players at the end of this summer, or whether it's loan or transfer. So we then have Dunk, Boscagli, and Coppola, with the assumption that Van Hecker is going to leave. He's probably the most likely to leave of any Brighton player this summer. We all agree on that. So that's 3. Definitely need work there as well, don't we? We definitely need to sign at least one centre back.
We absolutely do. But I mean, I just don't think they have a choice. If Van Hecker goes, you're signing a centre back.
Yep, 100%. So that's sorted. Left back, we have De Kuyper, we have Ferdi Kadioglu, and that's actually about it for left back.
Well, I think this is actually, I don't think they reinforce this spot.
Neither do I.
Worst case scenario, they put Boscagli out on left back. Well, I don't like it. They'll do it. And yeah, I think that's one of the spots you leave.
I totally agree. So we don't need to re-sign. We don't need to spend any money in the market for a goalkeeper or a left back, but we're quite happy at right back and centre half to make some moves. Look at going into the midfield. Let's go centre midfield first. We have a group of Jack Hinchelwood, Carlos Baleba, James Milner, Diego Gomez, Yasin Ayari, Pascal Gross, Matt O'Reilly.
Where's Malik Yakuye, huh? Where's he?
That's a good point, actually, of course. Malik Yakuye, and no, that's it. For centre midfielders.
And he didn't do that well on loan, did he? From what I've understood.
No, he didn't. So that's your group. So if you're looking at that group, Malik Yakuye probably doesn't have a part to play next season for the Albion. Do we agree on that one? But he's not. He'll probably go on loan. I don't think we sell.
Another loan, yeah.
Matt O'Reilly is not going to be a Brighton player by August the 22nd or whatever. Do we agree? He has no part to play in a Hertzler squad, and he's not going to be here.
Yeah, I don't see him knocking about unless they just can't sell him.
Yeah. Carlos Baleba is very much on the potential sale list, and James Milner is 40 years old.
And technically out of contract in 30 days.
And out of contract in 30 days. So going into August, you're going to have a definite group of Hinchelwood, Gomez, Ayari, Gross. You also have the idea of a potential Weaver, potential.
Well, right.
And you also have Gomez, who is also going to be talked about at right wing. Love it or hate it. So what do you think of that midfield group? Does that need reinforcing, that centre midfield group? There's quite a few names there, but there's nothing that you look at and go, for, is there? If Baleba leaves, there's no one on that group where you go, like you said, that there's no electric midfielder that we've been used to seeing since Bissouma.
Big Alexis McAllister hole right there, isn't there? Yeah.
But like you've had your Bissouma, right? You've had your Caicedo, you've had your Baleba. You are used to a very dynamic, powerful midfielder in that group, and we will have absolutely none in that mold going into this season if Baleba leaves. So we have to get someone, right?
It's a problem. Yasin Ayari got a year left on his contract. So does Pascal Gross. By the way, I think at this point, now he's done Dortmund, Pascal Gross stays at this club until he literally falls over and can't get back up.
I think Pascal Gross actually transitions into a coaching role. They talk about it with people talk about it with so many of the players. People are talking about it now about Milner. I don't agree with that, but I think Pascal Gross absolutely.
Hear me out. Pascal Gross, head coach, assistant manager Joel Veltman, but just for the attitude,
just for the dream.
Yeah. This is a problem area. This is a problem area. We've talked about before. You're going to be playing a lot more games next season. You were playing Pascal Gross and James Milner starting in some games towards the tail end of this season. That is not a long-term situation. He's also shown himself to want to play Jack Hinchelwood further forward in a 10 role. So you could potentially even like scratch Jack Hinchelwood from that list. As you say, Diego Gomez has sometimes play right wing. Now this could, as you say, finally unlock our dream where we do sign the Greek right back and it opens up Mats Weaver to play weirdly in defensive midfielder. Will it happen? No. But we can dream. You desperately need to sign someone in there. You need a body. There's no one. I'm even looking at the old loan army outside of.
I've got them on my list as well. Yeah, there's no one on there.
They've got to do something there. Yeah, that is a problem. It's a problem.
So centre midfield, definitely. Left wing, we've got a Mitoma who's just had surgery on his hamstring. Last two people to have surgery on their hamstrings for the Albion. Do you know who they were? Lampkin, Lualua. Never played football again. So we've got Mitoma with massive injury question mark over him, right? You've got to.
A year left on his contract.
A year left on his contract and a full summer off being injured with surgery on his hamstring. Bad news, Bears. Not good. So you got him out. You've got left winger. You've got Ferdi Kadioglu, potentially again as a conversation in that role. You've got Yanku. In fact, we should probably just go wingers because they seem to just throw them all over the place. So you've got Mitoma, you got Minte, you've got Tommy Watson, who's on loan. You've got
who Millwall fans thought was crap, by the way.
Yep, and couldn't get game time at Millwall either, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kadioglu and De Kuyper, who you simply aren't going to be able to play at left wing if there's a full European season going on, by the way, because you're going to have to rotate that left back position. So that's not going to be a luxury we have next year if we get through.
Yep.
You got Ibrahim Osman, who has had actually a pretty good season at Birmingham. They're very happy with him and think that they couldn't afford to sign him. That's how much they rated him. And you've also got Buonanotte.
Kozia Dewberry.
And Kozia Dewberry. So what does that lineup look like to you? It's because to me, it's one of those positions where we seemingly have been on record. I think it was, who is it that said it in the chat to give them their credit? Doom in the chat. Apparently, we've made an offer for Patrick Wimmer and Zadok Johanna, 2 different wingers. So this is a group that's actually got a heck of a lot of depth, and yet we are actively trying to add 2 more too. So if that's the case, we're probably going to be investing in both sides of the wing, and some of these players won't have a place here. So from the club, it seems like they're actively trying to recruit a left winger and a right winger. Thoughts?
I think they should be. I think they absolutely should be. We're starved on the right wing this season.
Oh, and Gomez, of course.
Yeah, I don't want to see that again. Kozia Dewberry comes back, and I know this has been talked about. Maybe you hadn't said it when we recorded previously. He's going to come back and he's going to play a role. Minte, for me now, has proven himself more effective on the left wing in this system that Herzl wants to play. So you might see a bit of that. Question mark against Mitoma. Tommy Watson's not going to be playing for this club next year. He's going to be on loan again. He hasn't proved anything. Who knows with Osman? Probably also same situation. Buonanotto's not going to be playing for this club. You just simply don't have enough cover, or you're making it acceptable to be playing players out of position, and we've seen that is not what you want to be doing. Wimmer, you're signing potentially from a Wolfsburg team that just got relegated.
11 million euro release clause, apparently. If true, there's going to be a fair few after him because he is a good player. So it will be interesting to see where that falls, because I suspect there'll be some clubs out there that are at the same level of us that will splooge a ton of wages he isn't yet worth, especially in the Premier League. So I don't know if that one's going to go through. He's never played a Premier League football game in his life. Like you just can't spend what I would imagine a team like Palace would put on his wage bill compared to what we would be willing to. So I'd be surprised if he ends up coming, solely due to the stupidity of other clubs around us.
I know everyone is referenced this guy in relation to their clubs because it's an easy one, and I don't think there's a chance in hell that this would occur. Jared Bowen.
I've thought it for a few weeks as well, that he is the most obvious Brighton signing I've ever seen of a relegated side, in that he fits everything we would look to do in terms of English, experience, attitude, production, style of play, personality. He fits everything you would want. The one thing he doesn't fit is what I think is probably his willingness to drop his wages to what we would be willing.
Correct.
And that entirely wipes him out of the conversation, because I think he is exactly what we should be looking to get. He is what Welbeck was when we signed him 4 or 5 years ago, to me. More talented, I think, because he's producing still, and Welbs was at a real down point in his career, but anyone playing for Watford would be.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, I think he goes to Well, I say that. I'm trying to think.
You want my hot take? I don't think he leaves.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
That's
I
my
don't.
hot take. I think he stays. I don't think they can. I don't think he's going to drop. I don't think they can get rid of his wages. And I think he'll say, "I want to stay on as captain and get you back up." That's what I think is going to happen.
I can't. For me, I can't escape the fact that he's married to Danny Dyer. The daughter of Danny Dyer is my main issue.
I don't know that.
Yeah, it's a problem because obviously she's called Danny, Dani. If you're him, you look at it and you go, "Oh, I still owe West Ham more time. I want to stay with the." He's 29. If they don't get back up, he's killed his career. He has to look at it, and they also have to get him off the wage bill, don't they? As you talked about before, I feel like he's forced to leave. I see him as someone Newcastle pick up. Yeah, it'll be that Newcastle, Everton, Villa.
I was literally gonna say backup for Villa.
Yeah, I see him.
Another European campaign for them.
They'll lose Morgan Rogers. I know it's not the same spot, but he'll go. And it's. By the way, I also think not that it's the same side of the pitch, because obviously he's not going to play in place of Saka. But Arsenal are marching out Leandro Trossard in a Champions League final. He's better than Trossard.
Yeah, he is.
But I know obviously different positions, different spots to play in for the most part. But yeah.
Looking at our number 10, then you've got Jorginho, you've got Costolas, maybe. I don't really know what the hell's going on there. You've got Hinchelwood. You
shouldn't, but you do.
Correct. And you got Buonanotte, who I think you should include in that group. Buonanotte, I don't think he's going to play a role for this football club probably ever again. Sadly, he wasn't good enough for Leeds, so that eliminates him automatically. So you've got at your 10 role Hinch, Georgie, and who else did I just say? Maybe.
And if you keep him around, Matt O'Reilly does want to play there, I think.
Well,
no one else does.
Happen.
No one else wants him to play there. But I think
that's your 10 group. What do you say? Do you think the club think, yeah, we need to invest in that position?
You have him. He's on loan in Germany and probably not coming back. Right?
I mean, you say that, but he was played almost exclusively at right wing at Leipzig. So, do you?
Yeah.
I mean, so either, right? Gruder is not a central attacking midfielder for Leipzig. He played just about everywhere. So, who knows?
My concern is I think they're going to try and make do here.
So do I.
And I don't love it, but I think they'll try and make do.
So let's go to our final spot, shall we? Because I agree with you. I think they're just going to go with it. At striker, you've got Seamas returning from an ACL, who's played barely any Premier League football, really, as well, really. So
we don't even know what he is.
You've got Georgie, who the one thing we know about Georgie is he isn't a 9. If we don't know where exactly he's best, we know he definitely isn't best as a 9. Right? At least in this style of Brighton and Hove Albion Football Club. Georgie is not 9. So you've got Seamas, you've got Georgie, you've got Welbeck, you've got Costolas, again, potentially, whatever the hell's going on there, and Evan Ferguson.
Oh, Jesus, the ghost of Evan Ferguson refuses to be banished.
This spot, I'm not even going to ask if you agree. This spot needs investment in the summer as well.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier, right? It's a problem. It's a distinct issue. I don't even want to talk about Evan Ferguson. I just don't think it's worth talking about Evan Ferguson.
Neither do I.
What a fall from grace. My word, if you think about we talk about falls from grace. This guy, the next Alan Shearer. Next to everything, wouldn't he? Yeah, just wait. It's still going to happen. Clearly, Hertzler doesn't think Kostulas is mature enough, maybe in his attitude and his commitment. I feel like we get that underlying from him. I also don't know if you can rely on Kostulas as an out and out like game in, game out number 9 anytime soon either. Sort of a bit of the joker you bring in to see if he can make something happen and score an overhead kick at some point, right? And he seems he can do that.
Or you play him against like a Shelbourne and he scores a hat trick and like makes people look really silly. Like, and you
exactly,
go, yep, thanks a lot. You did your job there. Like, you've absolutely made this team not want to play football anymore.
I think we'll see a lot more of him next season. I think we'll see a lot more, but I don't think he's not your answer. It's just so hard for us to, and by the way, for the club as well, they can't operate under the idea that CMAS is anything at this point. Like, they don't. There's the guy they scouted beforehand that played a handful of games for us. He's still 20, isn't he? Massive injury. What? You can't really think about anything of him. If he comes back and he does anything for you, it's a bonus, I feel like, at the moment.
I mean, look at Ferguson. He's the same situation, right? Like, you would say, like, next Alan Shearer, one big injury, and he's never been the same. So,
dignity. Don't put that out in the universe.
Genuinely one of the worst things I've ever read. Dignity in the chat, for those who are listening to the podcast anywhere else, has said that he has a feeling we may sign Callum Wilson, and I would not like that at all. So, just recapping, the club need to sign players at right back, centre midfield, left wing, right wing, and striker, all of which are expected to have an impact next season.
Pretty much
to be a successful summer.
Pretty much, yeah.
And we'll be losing definitely a very good centre half, probably one of the best centre midfielders we've ever had, and potentially our number one goalkeeper. Potentially.
Yeah, well, when you put it like that, sure, it doesn't seem great. But
I mean, all I'm really actually saying is that this is probably, even though I think we've said this before across the years, this is probably the most important some of the Albion have had for a long time in terms of people leaving, strengthening needed, 2 years under Hertzler, European football again. Some of those players' legacies leaving, right? Like the dressing room presence of some of these players and the acceptance that some of these players are going to be in a transition out of the club season too. Like it is massive. I think it's the biggest summer we've had in a long time since the one under Potter year one, where we did a whole identity change from Houghton to Potter, where it was like, we completed this segment of our development as a football club, and it's now time to change to next section of the football club where we become a respected Premier League football team. This is the one where we go, this era of what we were building as a budding Premier League club comes to an end, and we now need to be bringing in a group of players that we believe are a group of players that are going to produce top 10 finishes every single season and maintain European campaigns when we get them and go on cup runs. Like that level of performance, if we want to be there.
You say that, but can I interest you in a handful of unknown youth players from various parts of Europe instead?
I think you're inevitably going to get some of those, right? Like in that group of like that list of players, I think you're inevitably going to get them. The winger position, especially.
I mean, Vim as a name. I think that the young up and comer that we were rumored with, I feel like for a long time, and was messed about. El Mala, Syed El Mala, and then his brother. Now seems like we're missing out on him, and potentially Brentford are being talked about. As
so weird. I thought there was like sorting a deal for Chelsea there. Like I just thought Chelsea were getting him.
Well, Chelsea have got. They've got Valentin Barco now. Don't worry about that. They're sorted. There's if you want to speculate a little bit, and you check out some of the rumors, and the rumors are so rumory at the moment, more than normal. It feels like, because we've got a World Cup to come, and then the rumor mill will really start churning in a big way.
Definitely.
Let me give you one. You talked earlier about our lack of this momentum, this force in midfield. Right now we're losing probably Basuma. A name that had been thrown around, Kaishu Sano from Mainz, Japanese player, 25-year-old. And I'm quoting a Team Talk article, horrendously unreliable source, nicknamed Iron Man for his tireless work rate and consistency. Apparently, a lot of interest from England. Now, that to me is the type of profile, at least, right, where you're looking to bring someone in that central midfield role, energy, create something, the natural progression from your Basuma, Caicedo, and why am I just now blanking on his name? Belabor. That's a potential guy that you bring in, but we've been quoted £50+ million for that type of player. But if they're picking up what you're putting down and this intent of we're going to really push forward here, you have to be stumping up cash like that. You can't just continually sign 19-year-old Greeks. Yeah. It needs a guy like that. It needs a Vimmer to come in and to supplement what you have, because we are going to walk away at the end of this summer. There are going to be holes in the squad. There always are.
Absolutely.
It's just pick which one
there
you
are
think
for
is...
every team, though.
There are for every team.
To be fair to everyone, like, it's not just the Albion that come out of the summer going, I wish we could have signed X position. Or
no,
I
of course not.
believe we didn't sign blah blah position.
That's how you get to moan in January as well, and that's where you get the hopes up for January, and they get crushed all over again.
Any players that stand out to you in the relegated group that you would like?
We've talked about one, haven't we?
Other than Bowen, anyone else?
I mean, I'd have to. I can't even think off the top of my head of anyone. I mean, what, Wolves and Burnley? God, no.
Well, Andre is going to go. João Gomez and Andre are probably going to go to play people bigger than us abroad, right?
Sure.
Like, they're the only two actually good players for Wolves. Hugo Bueno, I think, isn't it? Their left back. I think he will probably move on to a decent foreign side as well. I don't see him staying in England, but he's going to get signed by someone decent enough. After that, I mean, maybe Hwang might go somewhere. I don't particularly rate him, but I can see him leaving, going to like a German
I don't rate him either.
Mosquera, Jose Sarr might bounce as well. Their goalie, he might have a year or two at a better club. Tell you who I want, though. This is who I
Adama want. Traore from West Ham, surely.
Muscle man. It's a Burnley player.
The big central defender?
No, I want Zian Fleming.
Why?
If you are a footballer that can score 11 goals in the Premier League for Burnley under Scott Parker,
true,
you are a player at 27 who can absolutely play a role in what we're looking to do as a striker. Like, that is a player where if we are not going to invest heavily in a striker role because you want to see what CMAS can do in others, Zian Fleming at 10, 12 million quid, 11 goals under Scott Parker, by the way. I'll keep repeating that for everyone. All summer. 11 goals in the Premier League under Burnley at Scott Park. Like, I just think he would be a phenomenal signing. At what we're looking to do in the level, Somerville back to Leeds. I don't know where Somerville is going to go, but I don't think he'll come anywhere near us. I've heard lots of stuff about attitude issues with him as well. But that's my guy. That in that group of players, Zian Fleming, I would love him to come to us.
Well, let me throw another one at you.
Yeah.
There were rumors before he made this switch. Kyle Walker-Peters.
I knew you were going to say that as soon as you said the rumors. Yeah. He's only 31 as well, isn't he?
He's not. He's 29.
Is he really?
He's 29.
Jesus. I think if we sign a Costinha lad, no.
Of course. But if that doesn't happen...
I mean, we just talked about English players leaving, right? Like, that's why he was on my list last year. Was like, I think he could come. And I think he was, like, on the list.
It was, yeah.
It's just West Ham are idiots with their wage structure that's going to bite them in the arse this summer. But
Well, don't they have Wan-Bissaka and Kyle Walker-Peters? It's just
They do, yeah. Wan-Bissaka, I wouldn't be surprised to see him like go to. I mean, back to Palace wouldn't be a shock, to be honest.
you know what's shocking to me, and this is why the rumour mill is so stupid at the moment. It's probably what happened. All of the news in the last 24 hours has been about Jared Bowen getting purchased by Chelsea. Of all the needs Chelsea have,
Yeah.
Why? I mean, maybe it would happen because it seems stupid, and that is Chelsea's modus operandi.
That's probably the most biggest option, then, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Like, what's the dumbest purchase they could make? Jared Bowen. Great. Yeah. We'll see. But I mean, I think all in all, despite our hesitancy with a couple of things, if you were offered at certain points during the season the ability to walk away with European football, finish 8th, you take it, because there were certain parts in this season where we could have been managerless and fighting for relegation. Now, could this have been the dizzy highs of Europa League and potentially Champions League football at a stretch? Yes. Do I think we should have qualified for the Europa League on merit? Yes. But all in all, this could have been a worse season. You could have been a Spurs, you could have been a Newcastle, you could have been a Chelsea, and you weren't. So,
and I think for the board, right, for Bloom, any football season that considers European football, if you're offered that August, it's a very successful season for Brighton and Hove Albion Football Club. I think that on May 24th at full time, he agreed wholeheartedly with you and still does. But I think Tony in August goes 8th place in European football. Yes, please. Like that's a successful season at Brighton and Hove Albion. So
yeah,
player of the season was Ferdy, I believe.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
Yeah, you good with that?
I'm good with it. I mean, I think I just sort of love him, and that's clouding my judgment. And
well, obviously, you're not the only one, are you?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter even if he's not that great. It's like, just give him some credit. But he was at points during the season really excellent. I think even on his bad days, he wasn't that bad. Yeah, he was very, very good, wasn't he?
I agree with you. Yeah, I don't have a lot of complaints other than a couple of the obvious shout outs. Bart playing every game is pretty good, even for a goalkeeper. To play every single one is pretty solid. Welbs.
Yeah,
goals.
I mean, what more can you want? But I think if he didn't sputter out a little bit towards the end of the season, that would have been more of a conversation.
I agree. Minte and Jack Hinchelwood for goals and assists. They're both second joint goal contributors.
Not close, and that's where I disagree with the stat.
At all. I'm just kind of saying, like, calling out a couple of players that have had seasons.
Minte had such like weird parallels to his like weird ups and downs rather to his season, where he was like either amazing or you were like, what is he forgotten how to play football? And you know how I feel about Jack Hinchelwood. Yeah.
I mean, you've got a couple of players there that you look at and go, they need to be better next year. Georgie, obviously a big one. Mitoma only played 19 games this season. That needs to improve.
I don't think you get more out of him at this point forever.
Neither do I. Which is probably why we're looking at wingers on both sides.
Correct. Yeah. you can't rely on him for, and even when he was, he would pick up knocks, get tired. It's just, yeah.
All right. Well, we've checked every bullet point that I had on our list. It took us 2 hours and 9 minutes.
I'm genuinely tired.
Imagine if there was more than us.
Yeah. Well, thank God we get a break.
Yeah, it's hard work. And for that hard work, I would love you to subscribe to us if you don't already. We are at 461 subscriptions on YouTube. I would love to get to 500 before the season kicks off next year. I mean, I'd love to get like 1 million, but that's not going to happen. But like, I would love to get 500. I would love to hit 1,000 in the next year or two. I think it's doable. Like, why not? So
why not?
If you don't subscribe, please do. Every time you like it, it's massive help for us on the algorithm. So even if you just tune in and be like, I disagree with everything you say, at least give it a thumbs up. It's like, yeah, you're wrong, but I will like it anyway, because that would be helpful. So any subscriptions you can do would be lovely. Any likes you can do, any reviews you can do would be amazing. Just any interaction you can give us to bump us up on this off season would be lovely. We do try to.
It might not seem like it.
Content. And also big shout out to Cal Waldron, who won the Together BHA Podcast League in Fantasy Premier League. 2,409 points in the end. That is a hell of a season for him. He finished in the top 6,000 in the entire thing, which is wild. Yeah. So really well done to him.
That is pretty
and he won the title off everybody this season. So really well done to him as well. But yeah, any kind of like or subscribe would be lovely. We will be back in August or possibly sooner, depending on what happens. You know,
there could be an emergency podcast, right? There could be pending signing. It could be.
Like we can have a signing of like Messi and Adam saying how terrible it is for the football club to be signing him because he's washed.
I actually think it would be bad. I think
yes, it would. I ironically do agree. It would be a bad deal. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, we'll be back. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we'll see Robin and Craig more often next year.
But once England have hoisted the World Cup, the Jules Rimet has been held over the New Jersey, Newark, East Rutherford area. That's when we'll be back. As Dignity says, the England winning. Maybe we'll do a podcast with England winning. Dan Burn header.
Win the World Cup, of course, we'll be doing a podcast.
Yeah.
There's no chance that we will, but I would definitely do a podcast of that.
Yes. I think okay. I just, for all my bad calls, just remember this good call. England are going to win this World Cup.
It would be lovely if they do. All right, that's it. We're gonna not be here for a while. So we'll talk to you guys in a couple of months. And
enjoy the summer.
Have a good summer. Yeah. Thank God it's a football field one. That's always a nice thing. It's not an odd numbered year where there's nothing going on for months and months. So
enjoy. Thank you everyone for listening. We really appreciate it.
Bye.